everyone. Welcome to episode 92 of Formidable Opponents, a show that pits three people who have known each other virtually their entire lives in a series of conversations as we argue what is best in a variety of fun, engaging, and critical pop culture topics we all debate about. I'm Randall, and with me, as always, Bob and Joseph. And this week's topic is Best Song About a Woman. Let me start off this episode by sharing a quest for inspiration by trying to find out what inspires others. I looked no further than the website pirate.com. That's a music website, not the pay site Bob and Joseph frequent for women with tattoos and eye patches.
You forgot wooden legs.
Anyway, I go to pirate.com, the music website, and I see this list of 10 sources of inspiration for a song. Most of the inspiration was drawn from creative environment, doing and discovering, seeking, searching, creating. One inspiration stuck out to me. That was personal experiences. The caption under this source read, "Often emotion is inextricable from creative processes, and drawing on personal experiences can inspire great musical ideas." What could be more personable than the element of love and admiration? From the first heartbeat of want to the last tear of loss, when a song is personal and written about a person, there's an extra emotion to it. For centuries, we've bared our souls, intensified our sentiments, and the main ingredient to it all is the love or the heartbreak or the wonderment you feel for the person. On this episode, we're focusing on the best song about a woman. If we did best song about a man, it would be unanimous. We'd all pick Who's Johnny by El DeBarge. This week, Formidable Opponents is discussing and debating about the miracles that make this world go round. We're talking best song about a woman. As always, I'm joined by two guys who I had to convince not to pick Baby Got Back by Sir Mix-a-Lot. Bob and Joseph, we are back. How are you guys doing?
I actually forgot about that song. Honorable mention.
Yep, we're writing that down. Throw that one in the hat.
Oh,
doing good.
It's
been a while. It's been a while.
Wow.
It's been close to a month. Holy crap.
Oh, man. Yeah. How's everybody doing? I don't know why I went into a Canadian. I've been watching Tough as Nails. They've been showing Tough as Nails a lot.
Tough as Nails. I've been watching Letterkenny, so I'm surprised I haven't seen the boot.
And it takes place in Tough as Nails this season is taking place in Canada. So a lot of the castmates are Canadians.
Canadian, eh?
Yep. Yes, Bob finally watched Letterkenny. Thank you, bro. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I wasn't the one. I wasn't the first person to recommend it to you, but I'm glad. So I can't take credit for it, but thank you.
Is that the show with that hockey ref Schurzy? Is that the
one? Schurzy? Yes.
He comes out and
guest spots in it. But then he got his own show.
He has his own show. Hilarious.
Fuck you, Shorzy. I like that. Yeah, it's a lot of goofs like that. It's pretty funny.
I've seen the clips. It's really funny, so I got to check it out.
What's going on, everybody? How's everybody's summer going? These two
It's fucking hot, Joseph. It's fucking hot. If you're not from Texas, you don't know this, but we're in a melting pot here. And I'm not saying that because there's a lot of mixed variety of culture down here. It's fucking hot. We're melting our ass off. You can go outside from about 6 a.m. to maybe 9, and then you're inside until about 8 o'clock at night, and it's still fucking hot outside.
It's crazy. I was on a trip to California. I was wearing hoodies. I had an excellent, vacation. For real. When I landed back,
wore his pants backwards.
When I landed back in Texas, immediately just sweltering heat. I was just cursing up the storm because it is incredibly hot here. But we love it, and there's other ways to keep cool. But we're so happy. We're so happy to be back after this 1 month of vacations and travels, and we're all healthy and happy. I got a little bit of allergy, so bear with me. But guys, we're talking about best song about a woman. When you're singing a song about a woman, what elements, emotional or musical, are essential? And don't say breasts, okay? What are essential
elements? That's the first thing I was going to say. Okay, I just want to say that if anybody starts singing "Hey There, Delilah," I swear to God, I'll log off. Fuck this shit. Y'all better keep that shit to yourselves. And the element has to be a great song about a girl. It's got to remind you about a girl. It has to remind you about that specific moment in time, a specific crush, a specific ex or girlfriend growing up. It's got to remind you of something like that. You know what I mean? If you can't make that connection, then it's not worth the shit.
There has to be, I believe, some kind of personal connection to the individual being sung about. I think it's, for me personally, it's more the personal connection, kind of like what Bob said. Whether it's great memories, bad memories,
I think I agree with you both. It has to be meaningful. It has to come from a place of personal experiences. Like when we talk about our selections and we talk about our honorable mentions, one thread that they have in common is that they were written by personal experiences. Maybe not the singer was the songwriter, but whoever wrote the song was reflecting about their past or about their present. And I think that adds to the essential totality of it all. And I veer more towards like the positive reflections. I mean, it's not necessary. Listeners are going to find out that we had 3 totally different selections.
Yeah.
But to me, if you're thinking about, and I'm going to use this phrase again, euphoric recall, you're thinking about the positive experiences with somebody that may have been a breakup or whatever, but you reflect back about the good times. And I think when you listen to these songs, they're a constant reminder of like, hey, you know what? Maybe it was bad. Maybe it didn't last or whatever. But there was a moment in time where that relationship helped define what you saw in life and the positive nature of what was going around you.
And also, I just want to throw out, because I don't think in the pre-sent questions that Randy usually always sends us, if you didn't know anything about it, we don't talk about how, yes, for the most part, and I think a lot of our honorable mentions are going to cover what we just talked about, a personal connection maybe to a former lover or a girl that, a friend or even, but, you can also throw in, great songs written about your mom, a mother, mother, just... a woman or individual with some kind of personal connection is basically the grasp. But that also covers a wide, I think, range of songs. They don't necessarily have to be breakup songs or love songs, things like that. So I just wanted to add that because it's going to come into play a little later for me.
Let's take it easy there, Norman Bates. Let's take a step back, take a breath.
What'd you say about my mother? Okay, so guys, there have been thousands of songs written about women, and about half of them were by the Beatles. Did they give everyone the template? Maybe not as the innovators, but did they perfect the art of writing a song about a woman?
I think they did, man. I mean, you could look at, Something, Michelle, Lucy in the Sky, Eleanor Rigby, Honey Pie, I Want to Hold Your Hand, I Want You, The Two of Us. The Beatles did a lot of things right, in especially writing songs about women, because that was really their core audience, and I think they were able to take advantage of that by creating these songs about women, especially love songs. I mean, they even wrote the song Michelle as a way to speak French at parties to get laid. Did you hear that story? Paul told that story when talking to Rick Rubin in one of the specials on Hulu. Yeah, it's a way they could get chicks. So he was like, John used to nudge him and say, "Hey, sing that French song there at the party with his acoustic guitar, so they can get chicks." So I think they may not have perfected it, but they damn sure did a great job of using that to their advantage.
I have to disagree.
Here we go.
No. Look. Yes, obviously, yes, they have written a lot of songs about women, different women in their lives, and whatnot. And they're good songs, yes. But I look at, no. Did they create the template? No, I don't think so. I think there was a lot of great music before the Beatles about women. I mean, look what Elvis was doing. Elvis was singing songs left and right.
Yeah, of course. He was ripping off all the African American blues players. Too.
Well, then too.
Elvis is a punk.
Well, then Ray Charles too. They wrote.
Said, "Fuck you, Elvis."
People before the Beatles. There was some good songs about women back before the Beatles. Even though, yes, the Beatles. I mean, they kind of made it. They didn't kind of make. They made a career.
Love Me Tender was about a peanut butter and jelly sandwich with bananas, Joseph. Get that through your fucking head.
I will say this: the Beatles could write about anything and anyone. And Joseph, it's funny that you mentioned Elvis because I have him on my notes. So to draw a little comparison, I always felt like Elvis was the Hulk Hogan, the great white hope that came in.
Why? Because he said brother a lot?
Because he said no, but Lennon and McCartney.
Because he weighed 240 pounds towards the end.
And they used him, and you're absolutely right. He stole music, made it into something where white America could, indulge in and all that stuff. I absolutely stole it. But Lennon and McCartney, when they came in, I compare them to two other wrestlers, The Rock and Stone Cold Steve Austin. Now, when the WWE hit that peak in the late 90s, what did they have? They didn't have one star like Hulk Hogan in the 80s, Elvis in the 50s. They had two stars. They had The Rock and Stone Cold Steve Austin, which made it just a monumental era for that for that point in time in wrestling. So when Lennon and McCartney, probably the two best songwriters in the history of songwriting, are in the same band writing for each other, I mean, you can't go wrong. And Bob, it's to your point where they were writing these songs because at first they wanted to get noticed by girls, and the songs just exploded to these big triumphant, legendary poetry that we know now. But at first it was about getting with women, and that's why they were writing these songs.
I want to hold your hand. The devil's got hands, and he uses them for holding. You ever seen that Dewey Cox? Funny shit. Sorry.
Great movie.
In the future, I'm sure we'll cover Worst Song About a Woman. I have my selection already.
Oh, man.
But is there one band that you'd like to see do a cover of one of your honorable mentions? Maybe a band that doesn't typically do songs about, love or women. I'll give you a couple of examples and maybe it'll inspire you guys a bit. So I would love to hear like the Foo Fighters cover anything by the Police or Bryan Adams. I think there's some soulful attachment there. I think they could really light up an 80s ballad. Is there any band that you think like, wow, they're so good, they should do some covers or they should do their own songs about this topic?
I want to hear Metallica do Roxanne. Just to piss off my
I think
wife,
they can do
she
it.
hates that song. Yeah, I think they would do it great. I think they would do it awesome.
Joseph, how would James Hetfield sound, Joseph, doing Roxanne?
I can't do that.
Oh, can you do me a favor, Joseph? Can you do Paul McCartney saying he compared me to a bloody fucking wrestler?
I don't do. I don't do.
Who does it? Oh, Randy does it.
Randy does it. We're all horrible at it, regardless.
Metallica doing Roxanne. You don't have to turn on the red light.
Well, you know what?
Almost spit on my water.
You know what? Considering they did a awesome cover of "Turn the Page," I believe they can do it. They can make it their own. They can do something. That's a good one, Bob. Like a lot of the honorable mentions, I'm going to mention in a bit. I don't know. I don't see any other band attempting them to do them. So I'll have to think. Maybe I'll have one at the end of the show. I'll try to think of them.
Excellent.
What about you, Ren? Did you have one?
I would love to hear the Foo Fighters do.
Oh, you said Foo Fighters. I'm sorry. Yes, that's right. I apologize.
Like a cover, I think they could make it soulful. I did love a lot of what the Police brought in the 80s, but I also think that their songs are very etched.
Two songs by the Police, Foo Fighters, and two bands doing Police song, Foo Fighters and Metallica. Pretty good.
Yeah, I think so. I think they would bring some soulfulness to
Don't Stand So Close to Me. I think they could do Don't Stand So Close to Me. Metallica do that really well.
Don't stand. Yeah.
Young teacher, the subject.
Is that Randy Watson?
We went into a little bit of that.
Boy, good.
As long as the Lord is good, I don't want to be wrong. Or what? I don't remember. All right, let's get out of it.
James Hetfield, Randy Watson. All right. So, guys, honorable mentions. Joseph, what do you got?
Sure. All right. So I got Scarface, Girl You Know. Love that song.
Oh, shit.
Good one.
Seether, Breakdown. That's a great song. I got Ozzy Osbourne, of course. My Mom Coming Home. Fountains of Wayne, Stacy's mom. I mean, she had it going on. What can I say? Peter Gabriel's In Your Eyes. Maybe Metallica can do that one.
Yeah.
Justin Timberlake, Cry Me a River. I'll go ahead and give him some props for that one. That was a.
Do you have any happy songs about women?
Get it? Sorry. The next one, yes, Queen, Fat Bottom Girls.
Yes.
Love you, girls.
Make the rocking
world go round.
Way ahead of his time. Yes.
Bob Marley, No Woman, No Cry. I got Roy Orbison, Pretty Woman. Night Ranger, Sister Christian, of course, had a great song.
It's his sister, Joseph.
No, it's not.
It is about his sister, but go ahead.
Well, not his sister. It's about a nun, right?
No, it's about his sister, yeah.
Oh, never mind.
Now you feel like a pervert, don't you?
And of course, the one song that I think should be on all our lists, and I probably should have picked it. Maybe I should have gone with this one. When you're thinking about a song about a girl, Nirvana's About a Girl. I mean,
About
come on.
a Girl.
So,
good list.
What do you got, Bob?
Oh, man. Oh, I have the Police, Roxanne. Nirvana's About a Girl because it's a song about a girl. Exactly. Yeah. The Stones, Angie. I love that fucking song.
Yeah.
The Temptations, My Girl, Joseph. How could you not go with that, dude? The Goo Goo Dolls, Iris. Still probably their best song. I'm going to really fight to the death for that one. What about Rick Springfield's Jesse's Girl? Come on, Joseph.
I'd rather go with Just My Imagination than My Girl.
That sounds like you don't have a date, so you have to use your Roy Orbison's
I'm very
Pretty Woman,
depressed.
Billie Jean. How could you not mention Michael Jackson's Billie Jean's Not My Lover, dude? The Deftones, RX Queen. Great song about a girl. Rod Stewart, Maggie May. And then I was going to go with Bush Swallowed, but I think I hit the subject wrong.
All right, so I had
song about a girl.
I had Michael Jackson, Billie Jean. Shout outs to my son. When he can listen to the podcast, I'm sure he'll appreciate the shout outs. I told him, I don't want you listening to it yet. The two guys I talk with Dad cuss a lot and they're always wrong. I don't want you picking up bad habits. But we were talking in the dinner table and I was telling my wife about the subject and he says, Dad, what about Billie Jean? I go, oh yeah, that's a pretty good one. So shout outs to him, and Bob, you had it on your honorable mentions too.
For
I
sure.
had Billy Joel. She's always a woman. He's the king. Billy Joel is about writing songs about getting dumped. You know, he's so talented.
And wearing dad shoes.
I mean, he just draws females to him. Then they realize what a snore he is, and they're like, no thanks. But I mean, great songwriter. Beatles, Something in the Way. That's the song, right? Something in the Way.
It's just something. Something
Okay.
in the way. That's Nirvana.
Something in the way is Nirvana, bro.
That's Nirvana. Okay. Well,
There's that band soundtrack.
a woman got in Nirvana's way
Something
too.
in the way.
All right, so I got Bryan Adams' Heaven. I got Rosanna, Toto. I got
Shit.
it's a great song.
I don't hate it, but the fucking song.
It's such a your uncle's favorite song.
Yeah, it's like if you're cruising with the windows windows down, and that song's full blast, and a group of chicks parks next to you, you're fucked. You have no chance.
Unless her name's Rosanna. Okay. So, by the way, written for Rosanna Arquette, by the way. Just the Way You Are by Bruno Mars. I had Brown Sugar, the Rolling Stones. My Girl, the Temptations. I had My Sharona by the Knack, In Your Eyes, Peter Gabriel. Hello by Lionel Richie. The video where he stalks a blind girl who makes a silly sculpture of Lionel's face. And that's notwithstanding. Iris by the Goo Goo Dolls. I had Oh Pretty Woman by Roy Orbison, Roxanne by The Police, I'm a Believer by the Monkees, and my last two I had Always on My Mind by Willie Nelson. To me, this was a close second. I didn't feel like getting too emotional, so I didn't select this song. But guys, better version, Elvis or Willie Nelson?
Willie Nelson, dude.
Oh, I mean,
Willie
100%, right?
Willie Nelson makes you fucking hurt.
He does. I mean,
You can
Willie
tell,
is
like-
he's just so.
I mean, how you can even, yeah, I'm sorry. I interrupted what you were
go
saying.
ahead.
Oh, no, I was just saying you can even add Blue Eyes Crying in the Wind. I mean, just
Crying in the Rain,
just-
yeah.
Blue Eyes Crying in the Rain. There's just so many. And then, yeah, like Bob mentioned, and both of you mentioned some that I was like, yeah, of course, I would have had that on my list too. I was quickly trying to put this list together before we got on.
Nobody picked Lola by the Kinks?
Oh, Lola. Yeah. I think Always on My Mind by Willie Nelson. I mean, Willie is so pure and honest, and Elvis is just too theatric with it. I think with Elvis, it's about Elvis. With Willie, it's about the woman. So, I mean, his rendition. And then lastly, I had Lady in Red by Krista Berg. So
How come you didn't choose that one? That was a close second, I know, for you.
it was about 3 or 4 on my list. I think Lady in Red, it came out in 1986. I couldn't remember what Krista Berg looked like, so I Googled him. And let's just say if he wrote this song today, it would be titled Lady Left Me on Red.
Terrible.
A little text message joke. Okay, anyway, guys.
Surprised you didn't pick Simply Red's Holding Back the Years.
Oh, that's a great song. Oh, yeah, no, Simply Red was a great band.
Yeah.
So we're going to go
Have you ever
on-
seen, by the way, just I want to throw it out there real quick because he is a white guy.
What the fuck?
No. I mean, it's a
Elvis
funny.
was saying.
It's a
Elvis?
funny. No. It's the guy Simply Red. I can't remember his name. I saw it scrolled. It came across my feed on Instagram. People listening to Simply Red, and then like they're like, "Ooh, it sounds good." And then they saw that the guy comes out, and they're like,
What the fuck
"This
is
guy?" They're like, "It's this guy.
Well,
This is the guy that's singing."
It's just like Ted Lasso. I think it was season 2 where the owner's mom thought Rick Astley was black because it's never going to give you.
Yeah, I can see
That's
that.
the guy
Yeah.
that sings it. No, great voices do come from everybody.
Yeah.
So we're going to our selections. Joseph, what do you got for us?
All right, we were having a lot of fun. Now I'm going to bring everybody down. My selection for this topic is Three Libras by A Perfect Circle, a beautiful song about being overlooked, written by one of my all-time favorite vocalists and songwriters, Mr. Maynard James Keenan. Maynard himself has stated in the liner notes to the single, and I quote, long quotes, let me try to get through this real quick. Up until the mid-20th century, the mountain gorilla was considered a myth. Oddly enough, a legend not unlike Bigfoot or the Loch Ness Monster. The chance to actually experiencing this elusive shadow was likely as was as likely as finding one's soulmate. Rare, precious, even once discovered, they seemed unapproachable. The only way to get close to the magnificent creature was to become apathetic, abandon all pretense and preconceptions. To bear an open throat, to collapse into the arms of vulnerability, all but extinct. These beings/moments are threatened by black-hearted, the cold and oblivious, the empty-eyed prophet seekers that overlook these rare, precious moments. Sorry, I had to actually read that.
Edgar Allan Poe.
Use your
Now,
tongue.
We're gonna play some ominous music. We're gonna have an owl hooting in the background during that.
Now, if you listen to the song, you might ask yourself, how in the hell is that what the song is about? But again, this is why I'm a big fan of this guy. You're never going to get the correct answer. This is coming from the guy who at one point in good amount of years ago sent out to the world that he was quitting music because he had found Jesus. And so, I mean, it was this whole huge thing. I remember like everybody was freaking out. And of course it was a lie. This is who this guy is. He's a prankster. He's a joker. He's never going to give you anything straight. Yeah. So, and he also mentioned that he wrote this song about 9 people or so in his life that have a birthday around the same time, hence the name Three Libras. He titled it so the people with Librian birthdays could battle it out to figure out who he wrote the song about. Now, really, I just said all that because I'm thinking one of you might use this against me and in a way to say that it's not really about, a woman. I'm looking at you, Randy.
But how are you looking at him?
Yes.
But if you listened, obviously, if you listen to it yourself, and I know Bob knows the song, Randy maybe wasn't too familiar with it, he does his homework, so he listened to the song. If you listen to it yourself, you know it's a great song about a man who clearly is taken by a woman, so much so that he looks past the faults, looks past the glamour and the glitz to actually see the real person and still being overlooked, passed over, as mentioned in this song. As the lyric states, you don't see me at all. Is this a tad bit depressing and tragic? And I know this doesn't give, I'm not giving too much of an explanation of the song, but it's our first, it's our first show back. So I'm just trying to get back on the swing of things. Is it a tad bit depressing and tragic? Yes, absolutely. But it's a great song and it's about real emotion, a real connection, like we mentioned in the beginning, to the person being sung about. Obviously, we're probably never going to know who it's actually written about. You know it. Listening to the song, it's about a man being overlooked by a woman in this case because the writer is a man. Now that I got the depressing stuff out of the way, guys, gentlemen, I yield my time.
All right. So we all chose different paths for this week's selection. Some of us went for unrequited love. Some went for celebrating a memory. Joseph, you went for a murder burial anthem, and that's okay. That's okay. It's a good song. A great, would this classify as an emo song, Joseph? Yes?
No.
No.
Funerals are the greatest aphrodisiac.
I enjoyed the change of pace, and I think each of our picks exemplifies, and we'll get to our picks later, Bob's and mine, how different we are and how we think, listen, feel, or drink, in this case, drink vials of our girlfriend's blood or whatever, So Maynard James Keenan, in a Perfect Circle EPK, which is an electronic press kit, stated regarding this song, it's about being overlooked. And you mentioned this, Joseph. So I was looking at the YouTube comments because I go there for sad songs because I know sad people are going to reflect on sad memories, And so this one YouTube comment, your participant writes, perfectly captures my feelings about a girl I was in love with back in 1995. I couldn't get out of the friend zone even though I was sleeping with her. I see no issues, but okay, heartfelt, whatever. That's your deal.
You threw her more than the obvious, I'll tell you that much.
I sifted through interviews with Maynard James Keenan about this song, trying to discover meanings. And, he explains things the way you would expect him to explain things, and that he doesn't really explain things. He doesn't explain anything. He speaks in, double wordings. He throws things out there. He goes, non sequiturs and whatnot. He doesn't really get to the point. So it's a song about not being able to be seen by the eyes of your loved one, or going unnoticed, or someone who you love, but they're going through too much of their own turmoil and uncertainty that they can't love you back with the same force. So, it's the heart of it, the root of it is very sweet and very tragic at the same time. And we've all been there. I get it. I don't have a problem with the song, but in this context, I'm like the person this dude wrote the song about. I choose to ignore everything because it's kind of just a little over the top for a love song, but I get it. That's his avenue. That's his lane. That's what he wants to do. And those are his fans. Give me fun recollections or optimistic viewpoints that inspire me. That's what I'm saying. It's very haunting. And yes, it's eerily stunning in its own world of shattered woe. And I get it. And sometimes you want to feel down on the dumps. You put in a perfect circle. You put in 3 Libras. And if you want to feel it, this is a song to make you feel it. So this song makes me feel... This song makes me feel like my basketball team lost on the final shot, and I don't like that emotion. I'm going to do a first on this show. Joseph, I'm going to ask you to change your pick to Billy Joel's Uptown Girl. So I'm going to delete this whole perfect circle conversation and start it. So Joseph, let's talk about Uptown Girl. Your thoughts? No. Bob, what do you think about this song?
3 Libras. You know, I'm siding with Randall. Just for this specific reason. I like when I think of songs about a woman. I'm thinking more like songs of like love and passion or something fun, like Jesse's Girl. You know, of course, there's plenty of breakup songs that are about girls or lost love, and I get that. But this one it's kind of too. This is one of my favorite songs, by the way, by A Perfect Circle. Just one of my favorite songs in general. The whole being looked over aspect of it's really kind of depressing, and it kind of sucks. When I think about a song about a woman, I don't want to think about the song about being looked over like that. You fucking know you gave her, she didn't even fucking notice you, bro. So that kind of sucks. It's a little too downer for me. I do love this song, just not when I'm thinking about a woman. That makes sense. But yeah, that's my take on it.
I think what I got from both of y'all is you kind of mentioned the term a love song. I don't know if that's kind of factoring into your pick or your rebuttal. It doesn't have to be a love song. I'll just say that. And I don't think I picked the love song. I picked a song about a woman, most definitely.
Which one, Joseph? There's 3.
That's just the name of the song. Like that's why this song, like it's so in this songwriters, it's all a mystery, but at the heart of it, listening to it, everybody knows. You got what the premise was in listening to the lyrics. I just want to add to real quickly before we move on, what I didn't mention. I did mention earlier about a song, you know, writing the woman doesn't have to be a lover, it could be your mother. There is a awesome song, in my opinion. I didn't mention in the honorable mentions because I didn't want to just say the name of the band or the person that I'm picking, but the song Judith, the song that he wrote about his mother on the same album. An incredible song, an incredibly angry song with religious turmoil and religious anger and you know, but it's written about his mom and his mom's, you know, the situation that she was going through at the time. It just, you know, like I said, songs coming out of anywhere. Really honest about anything. Doesn't necessarily have to be about love, but just great songs about women. Let me just, I don't know.
But did he say mother? He didn't say it that way, then it doesn't count.
I do like this song, Joseph. I listen to it and I get it when you want to feel that way or when you feel like a sort of similar emotion that Maynard is trying to convey or is conveying in this song. This is a good song to listen to sort of like be in that moment. But when I think about like, okay, I want a song that reminds me of, and everybody is entitled to their own personal memories about who reminds them of what. And maybe this song has a very special meaning to you as far as, you know, some history. But I get why people would want to listen to it. Just, I come from the sort of pathway of, if I'm going to listen to a song about a woman and want to be inspired, I want it to be happy. And that's just me. That's why we're different. But, and also the title, 3 Libros, reminds me of the Spanish homework my teacher used to give me for the summer reading. So go read those.
You can tell why he failed. It's Libros, Libras, not bros.
All right, so we're on my pick now. Anything else? I'm trying to find one.
I think that's a good stopping point. Let's just transition over.
All right, so we're going on to my selection. And for best song about a woman, I selected Van Morrison's Brown Eyed Girl. So my apologies to my wife who has hazel eyes. Don't worry, Kelly Clarkson has her covered. Anyway, this song was originally called Brown Skin Girl, and it was about an interracial relationship. Morrison changed it to Brown Eyed Girl to make it more palatable for radio stations. So, to our Mexican-American family and listeners out there, there's a good chance Van Morrison may have slept with one of our tias. So just putting it out there. Probably the one that made the best mole, okay? So anyway, that's why in this song, there's a line, Van Morrison says, "I saw you just the other day, my how you have grown." Translated, he was saying, hey, ease up on the pan dulce. You're not as young as you used to be, Maria. So you better watch it. He's talking about the weight gain. Anyway, so Morrison added a Latin flavor to this song. It's light and it's immediately recognizable. You can serenade your person with it, and you don't have to be a good singer to perform it. It's a hallmark fun karaoke song, and you can sing it when you're drinking. You can sing it to your girlfriend. You can sing it as a group. It's just a fun song to sing along to. Some of our selections or honorable mentions are difficult to work in as a serenade. You can't serenade to certain songs, maybe you two pick, but we'll get into that later. There isn't enough cocaine in the world for me to cry, scream some of the lyrics to some of the songs we selected as honorable mentions, but it's there for you, right? But Brown Eyed Girl, you can do that. It's fun, it's light, and it's just a fun time. For so long, and we've seen it in our culture, that blue eyes were the most beautiful, right? They were the standard. Betty Davis, Elizabeth Taylor. Brown eyes, however, are the most prominent. They're the norm, right? 70 to 79% of the world's population has brown eyes. Finally, Van Morrison gave men a song they could dedicate to their wives and girlfriends and not the women they are cheating on them with. So keep that in mind. We are a podcast based off of nostalgia, and the lyrics of this song are very nostalgic. When you think about the one you love, those thoughts, they put you at ease. When it's fresh and new, those times always stick with you. And Van Morrison really captures that emotion, and he doesn't overthink it. When I think of this song, I think about the times where you just met somebody and everything is perfect. You don't know anybody's flaws yet. You only know their representation. You don't know the real them. And it's just brand new love, and it's young love. And I like this quote from music journalist Paul Williams, and he writes, he included Brown Eyed Girl in his book, Rock and Roll, the 100 Best Singles. And he writes, I was going to say this is a song about sex. And it is, and a song about youth and growing up and memory, but it's also very much and very wonderfully a song about singing. It's quick, it's easy, it's breezy poetry, and to create something that joyous and meaningful and capture it in 3 minutes and 5 seconds, guys, that's talent. So this song has been featured on several popular films, including The Big Chill, Born on the 4th of July, Sleeping with the Enemy, starring Julia Roberts. This song just brings people together. And it was on George W. Bush's and Bill Clinton's iPod rotation. So I'm sure Bill Clinton thought he was ordering off a dating app, but it just shows how it brings people together. And I love this song. It's fun to sing sha-la-la. You could get into it, and you could dedicate it to the one you love. Guys, what do you think about this song?
I love this song. The first time I heard it by the Rolling Stones, called "Brown Sugar." So just throwing it out there. No, I'm just kidding. Mick Jagger got a lot of shit from calling a song "Brown Sugar," which is obviously about interracial dating. And I don't think this one would have popped as well if it was brown skin. I think Brown Eyes works really well because it speaks to a larger group of people, or a larger group of women. This is one of my favorite songs. My daughter has brown eyes, and a lot of times when I post pictures of her, this is like the line I use. There you go. So it's one of my favorite songs from Van Morrison. I was talking about this with Joseph the other day. Very underrated artist.
Yes,
and he did write more than a few love songs. I like the Moon Dance. That one's kind of sexy. Has a lot of flute and like jazz flute and shit like that. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. And Bob, before you go on, he got screwed financially out of all of this because he signed a contract that didn't allow him to collect royalties. So here's a talented guy who doesn't see as much money as he should after writing this great music. But I didn't mean to interrupt. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I think he's extremely underrated and extremely talented. Like I said, Moon Dance, amazing song. Crazy Love, I'm sure there was a lot of babies being made to that damn song when it first came out. I do think, though, and this is just my personal opinion, his best song about a girl, I didn't know it's not Brown Eyed Girl, it's Into the Mystic. I love that. It seems like I love that song. When I first heard it, I love the way they used it. If everybody's a fan of American Pie and American Wedding, they use that kind of like the wedding song at the end. I really do dig that song, and I think it's a great song. Beautiful song about a woman that he's in love with, and I think the way they use it at a wedding was really perfect. But Brown Eyed Girl, it's really hard for me to argue against. Again, Van Morrison put out a lot of songs about women and love, and I think that, it's a very good pick. I love Into the Mystic a little bit more, but Brown Eyed Girl, it's really, really hard to go. It's hard to go against. It's kind of like My Girl. It's kind of like Pretty Woman. It's one of those songs, man. You know what I mean? That you just, it's classic, at least in my point of view.
I am going to come at you with this.
Oh shit!
No. It's look. It definitely, like, like we talked about the criteria, a personal connection, great and fond memories about a former lover, and celebrating them. It's the complete opposite of what I chose for myself. I'm surprised though. It's particularly, and yes, me and Bob were talking about Van Morrison the other day. This probably being not one of my favorite songs because I'm not a.
He likes white women.
It's not like, I don't know. It's it's not I don't know. It's not my beat. Like I understand it's a popular song. I'm really surprised, to be honest with you, Randy. This isn't the song that I pegged you for. I thought you would have gone In Your Eyes with Peter Gabriel, Sweet Caroline, Sweet Caroline, something like that. I'm really surprised that you went with this one. I'm really surprised that you did. For me personally, the music is not, it doesn't, I don't know, it doesn't hit me the way that it hits you. This fun I know it's about having a fun time. It's about, great memories, like I mentioned. It just doesn't, I like other songs by him. Some of your honorable selections, like I said, would have been a better choice just because I thought you were going with those.
Let me add this to what Joseph's saying. It really isn't, other than brown-eyed girl, you're my brown-eyed girl. The rest of the lyrics are kind of shitty, dude. The song isn't as great overall. If we're just talking about strictly the song, it's not that great. I mean, he sings sha la 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 over and over fucking again throughout the damn song. So it's if we're talking about the greatest song, I mean, like, it's not the greatest of songs. I love the chorus of my brown-eyed girl. You're my brown-eyed girl. That's what everybody really. And then
Everclear does a really good cover.
That's what everybody knows from it.
I'm sorry, Joseph. Were you?
No, I was just saying. I to be honest with you, I just said, because I said the tone, the tempo, more on the music side. This is just me being an asshole when it comes to the particular type of sound in music that I want to hear, or the guitar chords, whatever. Everclear did a really nice cover of this song, and I really enjoy it. It's slowed down. It's a little.
It's depressing.
It's not depressing. It's
Every one of their songs is depressing, Joseph.
It's a cover. It's a cover. It's a cover of. If it's a cover, it can be depressing. If it's a cover, it's the same song.
You ever see him singing? He looks depressing just looking at him.
He had a hard life.
So did Michael Jackson. He's always smiling.
So anyway,
no remorse.
I will say this about, looking at the lyrics, I enjoy the fact that Van Morrison wrote this song and he's reflecting on very specific memories. He's talking about the transistor radio. He's talking about standing in the sunlight, laughing along the waterfall. And he's very intentional with the memories he's sharing with this, I'm guessing, former girlfriend or somebody that he loved for a moment in his life when he was very young.
His second cousin.
It's only a catchy chorus. Let's not.
Wait, no.
Go ahead.
I want you to look at the lyrics and then realize how he's talking about the days of these memories and how they made him feel. And making love in the green grass behind the stadium. He's being very specific with these.
Provoking back then.
That was the summer of '69.
Yeah, they took that one out. They took that lyric out.
They did take that lyric out. But he's talking about these specific memories about this girl, and to me, that's what makes this song pops. It's not about let me draw an inspiration about a culmination of women or maybe somebody I met this one time. This was about a relationship where he remembers the specifics, he remembers the time, he remembers the season, and I think that makes it so endearing and so fun. I want to ask you guys this: better Sha La La, is it Brown Eyed Girl or Mr. Jones and Me?
I was gonna say
Mr. Jones and Me.
La 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 la.
Mr. Jones and Me. Before we, like I said, Ren, it's it's a great lyrics, definitely about a great story of a great time with a woman, a former lover. I'm just nitpicking because I don't like the tone of the music. If I had to describe a movie scene for this song, it would be Wayne's World 2, Gordon Street. Yes, Gordon Street. This song is the Gordon Street scene in Wayne's World 2.
I'll wrap up with this. I really love that first line of the song where he says, "Hey, where did we go?" Because he's about to take you on down memory lane to like what happened, like life happened, like these changes happened. We grew up, we were so young and innocent and in love, and it was fun. But now we're older, and now things are different. So that reminiscing and that that honesty he has about the song. That's what drew me, and that's why I selected this song. But
where do we go? How do you know he didn't smoke a bowl and got lost? Fuck, he could have been high off his ass.
Yeah, I'm really surprised you went with this one. I didn't.
Love this song.
I thought you. Yeah, I know you do. I thought you were going In Your Eyes all the way.
We would, and I guarantee you, we went to a bar, we had a few beers, this song came out, we'd all be singing it. I mean, it's 100%.
Your wife's going to resent you for the rest of your life now. Hope you're happy.
I have to make a few changes of that. So, Bob, you're up next. What do you got for us?
Oh, I got the game winner here, baby. Dude, how could you not go with Derek and the Dominoes, Layla, one of the greatest guitar jams and songs about a woman of all time, man. Thank you, Goodfellas. Thank you, Eric Clapton. The way that it was used in that movie was completely epic. That's what really hooked me to the song, because I kind of knew it. I mean, I was young when Goodfellas came out, but that song hearing in that movie and watching those scenes really hooked me to the song. And then I was, I've had it on my iPod, recorded tape, recorded CD, burnt CDs, anything since then, the song is one of my favorites. The meaning behind it and everything, it's kind of fucked up, but it really is a great fucking song about a woman. It's tied to another great fucking song about a woman. Something, not Something in the Way, Randall. Something by the Beatles, a song that's coincidentally written about the same woman, Pattie Boyd. Now, Pattie Boyd. We're going to get into Pattie Boyd in just a bit, but Pattie Boyd was George Harrison's beautiful wife and inspiration behind Something, who just happened to be the all-inspiring inspiration behind George's best friend, Eric Clapton's lyrics in Layla. Now imagine, not you, John Lennon, imagine your best friend falling in love with your wife and then writing a love song about her and then eventually stealing her from you and marrying her. With friends like that, who needs Yoko Ono, right? Now, Pattie Boyd, not only was she beautiful, but she had to have been an amazing woman for not one, but two of possibly the greatest songs of all time to be written about her. Like, Jesus Christ, what did she have? She had something. Not only was she beautiful, but, she had to have had something special about her that these two dudes best friends would be fully in love with her, especially one that like Eric Clapton, who's been in love with her, who's in love with her while she's married to his best friend, George Harrison. So it's kind of a weird situation, but I can see why Eric Clapton was saying that he'd fall down to his knees and he's begging, darling, please, because apparently, she's fucking amazing, right? That he's willing to dick over his best friend to fall in love with this beautiful girl. The Beatles let you play on their record, bro, and you fucking trying to steal Pattie Boyd from George Harrison, the nicest Beatle. Fuck, it feels like George Harrison got the end of the stick throughout his time in the Beatles, and then Eric Clapton fucking gives him the another jab, dude, another stab in the back. Fuck that guy. It really does amaze me, all jokes aside, that Pattie Boyd was able to be a muse to both of these musicians, George Harrison and Eric Clapton, for both of these songs. And it's so crazy that I was in love with both of these songs, and I really had like a true appreciation for both of them. And I didn't learn till way later in life. I think I was in college when I learned that, thanks to the beauty of the internet, that Pattie Boyd was caught in that love triangle between George Harrison and Clapton, and it kind of like threw me off. I was like, what wasn't Clapton like best friends with Harrison? Didn't he play on While My Guitar Gently Weeps? And like, it just threw me off. And it just goes to the fact that, a song about a beautiful woman is one thing, but how about two great songs about the same beautiful woman? It's crazy, man. It's really crazy. By the way, another side note, quick detail, our friends from Did Not Need to Know, who actually had a podcast about this song, specifically Jim Gordon, who played the piano on the song, who also later went crazy, became a schizo, and killed his mother. There you go, Joseph, there's your mother connection, baby. It's a song about a mother. The piano was about the mother. Then he went out and killed her. It's kind of fucked up. Pretty insane. If you haven't heard, they released an episode a few weeks ago about Jim Gordon, who wrote that epic piano solo that's in Layla
that I freaking love.
Yeah, that I love. As far as the song, guys, from the lyrics, the falling in love, to like doing whatever, he like begging for this love, this girl, the guitar riff, the piano solo, like we just talked about, those crazy lyrics, the way the song, it does take you on a journey without having to sing sha la 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 la. Okay, but it really is a masterpiece of a song. Whether we're talking about this song in general from 1970, we're saying like best 70s rock songs. This one definitely would be mentioned in that little, top 10, top 20 of the best rock songs of the 70s. But as far as it being about a woman, it is the greatest song, one of the greatest songs ever. And specifically, it happens to be about a woman, the most beautiful woman, Patty Boyd. So I think this one is really, really hard to beat. It's hard to touch upon it for you to have. I mean, if you're talking about just a song specifically, I think you can have a really tall order bringing the song down because it's such a great masterpiece of a song, and it just so happens to be about a woman. So let's hear the arguments, boys. What do y'all got?
The first thing I had to do was Google Patty Boyd to see what this woman looked like.
And she didn't have brown eyes, I'll tell you that.
No, she's beautiful. She's
she
beautiful. And she bears a striking resemblance to Taylor Swift. And there's actually a Harper's Bazaar cover where Taylor Swift interviews Patty Boyd, and they're both dressed the same on the cover, and they look like mother and daughter. So yeah, it's so strange, but Patty Boyd was absolutely stunning. I'm always a sucker for a band name origin stories. We're not a band, but for this podcast, I think, Bob, you wanted to call it Three Guys and a Goat, and I told you nobody would Google us, and nor should they. So
everybody would Google
not the people we don't want. Okay, so Derek and the Dominoes, the group debuted at the Lyceum Theatre in London on June 14th, 1970, where the announcer, when they announced the name of this band, he mispronounced their provisional name of Eric and the Dynamos to Derek and the Dominoes. So the band decided to take up this new name and undertook a summer tour in England. And no, they weren't opening up for the Rolling Scones, but, they did have the wrong name. Can you imagine if the announcer was around decades later? We'd be listening to A Tribe Called Queso. Anyway, so this was a short-lived English-American blues rock band, and they were only around for a year, 1970. What a year to be around for music. So much transition, so many drugs were being done, of course. And they famously begun recording with Atlantic Records producer Tim Dowd. If you don't know him, Google him. He's worked with Clapton, Leonard Skinner, Aretha, Otis Redding, Primal Scream. This dude, he mixed Layla. He's a genius. He gave us 3 minutes of Walking Away, epic piano music. But we'll get to that later. So this was a double album titled Layla and Other Assorted Love Songs. And Layla, of course, was the featured song inspired by Clapton's unrequited love for Patty Boyd, as you wonderfully described, Bob, who is, of course, married to George Harrison. And don't worry, they divorced in 1977, and Eric Clapton married Boyd in 1979, and Harrison even attended the wedding party. Of course, he was disguised as a valet parker, but we won't get it now.
No, he wasn't disguised. That was his job.
So, Clapton divorced Boyd in 1989. There's some great excerpts in Boyd's 2007 book, Wonderful Tonight, George Harrison, Eric Clapton, and Me. I wish I could read them all, but for the sake of time, I'm just going to read this one excerpt. In the book, Patty Boyd writes, I was married to Eric's close friend, George Harrison, but Eric had been making his desire for me clear for months. I felt uncomfortable that he was pushing me in a direction in which I wasn't certain I wanted to go. Yes, you did. But with the realization that I had inspired such a passion and creativity, the song got the better of me. I could no longer resist. So points on this selection, because this song essentially stole her away from her husband, who was a Beatle.
Beatle.
If this was a modern day equivalent love triangle, it's like Post Malone stealing one of the Jonas Brothers' wives. I don't know. Anyway, after that, I'm here to tell you.
How dare you fucking compare the Jonas Brothers to the Beatles? What the fuck is wrong with you?
That Waffle House is a great song. Anyway, after that, I'm here
great pancakes.
I'm here to tell you why this song is not the best song about a woman. Great song, of course. I mean, we can't argue that. It's not the best rock song about a woman. It's not Eric Clapton's best song about a woman. It's not even Eric Clapton's best song about Patty Boyd. I'll get to that in a minute. But Bob, and yes, some people are going to say, this is the song that seduced a woman from a Beatle. Yeah, but it was George. It wasn't Paul. Paul wouldn't put up with that shit. He would have knocked him on his ass. Anyway, Layla was originally a ballad, but the song became a rocker when Duane Allman composed and added the amazing signature riff that you hear throughout the song. The song's incredible. I love Clapton, but the instrumentals, the mix, and the musicianship of this band is so heavy. It's so incredible. You can't sound any better than the way these guys made that song sound. So I give you credit for that. It's a great sounding song. Interesting note, Clapton went on a drug-fueled depression when the song tanked in 1971. He couldn't understand why it wasn't a hit. The record company did very little to advertise it, figuring that any project...
It's a bunch of best friend's wife, you douche.
But eventually it became a big hit, right? Two things that are, cultural touchstones to this song: the amazing opening riff and the piano at the end. And let's face it, it's two different songs. It's no longer about Boyd at the point where the piano comes in. It's about Clapton's defeat and struggle to move forward past this love. The love story and the story about a woman is tertiary. It's a footnote to this song. I think of this song and I think of the aftermath of the Lufthansa heist and Goodfellas. Jimmy Conway told you not to spend that money. I think of the dead couple.
Name.
I think about the dead couple in the pink Cadillac. I think about the body hanging in the meat truck. And the car's got to warm up. And I think about the bodies in the dumpster, Maury and his hairpiece. The song reminds me of the decomposing bodies and the stupid mistakes in Goodfellas than it does about Patty Boyd. And I think it's most associated with that woman. Also, Wonderful Tonight, also about Patty Boyd, is a great song. I think it's a better song. I think it's a better song about a woman. I don't think it's a better song overall, but about a woman, yes. And it was right there because Wonderful Tonight is such a sweet song. But here's the real culprit. I'm going to wrap up with this. It's a God tier rock anthem, but it has very lecherous intent in that Eric Clapton wrote it to steal George Harrison's wife from him. I mean, George Harrison never recovered. He gave us something, and then years later we landed on I Got My Mindset on You that he repeats 78 times. But when you think about this song,
it's a great song.
It's a great song. when you think about Layla and you think about the intentionality of it, it wasn't a very sweet, intentional song. It was, I need to be with you no matter what, even if I got to run over my best friend. And that's just a shitty thing that Eric Clapton did. Joseph, what do you think?
George Harrison was high on psychedelics. He was like, yeah, you know what? I'm glad she's happy. He was cool with it after the fact. He was like, hey, fuck it. It's his life.
I haven't pulled that shit on me. Go fuck him up. That's a bad Paul McCartney.
Paul McCartney wasn't pulling any pussy with that fucking, what did he have? The rat tail and shit that he was sporting back then.
Anyway, Joseph.
Well, my first question is, why is it called Layla? Nah, where do you get Patty? Layla from Patty. Anyway, no, I'm fucking around.
If it's a Patty, you probably would have get shot. This is 1970.
They would be using it for like hamburger commercials if you use Patty. Man.
Patty, I need some more cheese.
There you go, Weird Al. You just got a new song. Honestly, this is a really good song. I do really like this song. I'm more so, I'll be honest, with that, ending outro that's like, what is it, 4 minutes? Something like that.
It's two different songs.
Well, that doesn't make it it's not a bad thing that it's two different songs. It's a very emotional, raw, I don't want to say aggressive, but like it goes up and down. I mean, look, like you can
settle down, sir.
Look. I'm helping you here.
I told her
because I know this is a good pick. Probably would have if Bob didn't select it, I might have selected it, or I definitely would have added to it. Definitely would be on all of our honorable mentions if nobody did. It goes up and down, like I said. Like it's kind of like It's sweet at times, like, with pleading and like telling and telling the story of like a love. And then like, when they get to the Layla part, it's like, there's clearly this song about a woman. This woman in particular brings extreme emotion to the songwriter, to the storyteller, so to speak, to the point where they're screaming. It's not screaming Patty's name, but Layla, like, come on, Layla, like, God damn it, you got me on my knees, like, that's fucking, that's emotional. That's like, a personal feeling. You were going to say something real quick, Brandon?
I don't think, to answer your first question, I don't think he could title it Patty, because I don't think at the time George Harrison knew the shenanigans this dickhead was pulling on him.
Come on, baby, he's not even the lead singer. Come on.
I think and I know we made our selections, and I know and man, yeah, I didn't realize at the time when I hearing honorable mentions and then actually writing some out myself, man, there's so many great songs. I don't know, the only thing I have to say to knock this one from being the best is it this person. There's so many like quote unquote part twos to this song, to god dang this woman, I literally like searched, like there's one website put 10 songs that were written about her, and they all kind of cover what's the one that's written after Old Love is written by Clapton about her again after the divorce, and supposedly written with Harrison. Like it's like, I mean, it's like, wow,
like she fucked you over too. I'm like,
yeah, they became buddy. They were Eskimo brothers.
This fucking woman. I mean, something.
I mean, thing to you.
I mean, great, obviously great song. Great emotion, great feeling. I mean, it elicits.
Yes, it does.
You know, I mean, it does. Like even to the listener, maybe a listener that it resonates with, and it's a powerful song. It really is. It's definitely up there. It's definitely on my honorable mention list. Or it would have been my selection. Like I said, the only thing that I'm kind of like looking at is that there seems to be like so many branches to this person and these songs, and it's like, well. Some of them are, I mean, a lot of them are good songs too, like in their own right, that are written about her as well. So
Patty Boyd, man, I'm telling you, it's just, I mean, she must have been like just an amazing. I think I wrote down, like when I was writing down my notes, like I put amazing like 8 different times. Like shit, can't call her amazing that my wife listens to this fucking podcast. Can't say amazing that many fucking times about Patty Boyd. No, I'm just kidding. But she must have been an amazing woman for, like I said, these two rock legends and best friends. What the great thing about this, there's a happy ending to this. They both stayed best friends after the fact. And then she divorced his ass too, and then they're both kind of left with each other. So you know what I mean. So she was the real winner. She probably got money from both George and Clapton.
She is known. I mean, she was a model, but she is known as being the woman who was with George Harrison and Eric Clapton. She's written a book about it, a best-selling book. She's got an interview. You know, if there's a big winner here, it's Patty Boyd. She's got a ton of great songs written about her, and she's done a lot of press based on the relationship she had with these two guys.
She married I mean George Harrison, he's my favorite Beatle. He's had so much success, and I think he's really underrated, and he had like the biggest song. He was the first Beatle that went solo that had like a #1 hit way before Paul, way before John, especially. Ringo, I love Ringo, but we're not gonna talk about him right now. But George Harrison, for this to happen to him, and I was like, fuck, it's kind of fucked up, but then it does have a happy story. George is kind of off doing the Beatle thing and on drugs and all that shit, so she left him for this other dude, and he ended up being really cool with it. I guess way after the fact, right? And they stayed best friends and all that, so it worked out.
He wasn't going to write a song about Linda McCartney because I think Paul and Linda's relationship was super tough. Definitely not going to write a song about Yoko Ono. Could you imagine? Oh no!
I think John offered him to her, and he was like, "Oh no." Have you seen that one where like John Lennon is jamming with Chuck Berry, and Yoko Ono's like there too, and she starts singing and screaming in the background. Chuck Berry's like, "What the fuck?" He gives her the crazy eyes, like, "What the fuck?
Who is this bitch on stage?"
If you haven't seen that, YouTube that Chuck Berry, John Lennon, Yoko Ono. She starts supporting the song. She starts screaming, and Chuck Berry's eyes. He doesn't say anything, and it's very subtle. But he looks over like, "What the fuck is going on? Who gave this chicken?"
His cousin Marvin didn't warn him about that. Guys, last thoughts about these songs about women and what you've learned from this week's topic.
Songs about women, I think we'll always be kind of attracted to, like, or interested in and want to listen to, because they reflect us in certain ways. Certain songs really connect with us. So I think this is a great topic. I think it's a fun topic and an interesting one as well, because I didn't realize how many songs that I really liked that were about a woman or about a girl, right? Nirvana. So I think it's a good topic. It was a good call.
There's going to be people that agree, but I think there's going to be a lot of people that say that agree with something else completely, and that's totally fine in my opinion. I'm like I said, the more that we did research for this and the more that we looked into it, I picked my song because I did. It's one of my favorite songs. I love it. I know what it's about. I've listened to the song so much that I know the ins and outs of it, but there's so many awesome songs that, like, it really is like hard to single out just one. I know that's what we were here to do, and somebody's gonna get people are gonna agree with one of us more, but man, what an interesting topic. It's great, to be honest with you. So much great music all throughout the generations and all throughout different situations. Heartbreak, love, fond memories, family members, like you said. Like, I know, just so much.
Go ahead, Bob. Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, I had to mention this, and I forgot to mention this earlier. And this is, for anybody who knows, I'm a big fan of 70s rock and classic rock. And Santana is one of my favorite guitarists of all time. And I had to mention this hilarious interview that my buddy showed me, and they're interviewing him. They're like, "Well, how did you learn to play the guitar?" And he goes, "I learned to play the guitar watching women walk." And he's like, "Huh? What do you mean?" "Well, I watched them, and that's how I learned how to play my style, watching them walk. I was women in heels walking across the street." With the interviewer was like, "What the fuck is this guy talking about? You have to take peyote before this fucking thing, or what the fuck?" Yeah, so hilarious interview. Sorry, I had to mention that. I was gonna try to find a way to smoothly throw that in somewhere. But I learned to play the guitar watching women walk. That's my new thing now. Black Magic.
No, yeah, of course that's another one too. But no, just like a more recent one, I guess, from our decade. 3 a.m. Matchbox 20, great song about a woman. I think so.
One Population, there was a lot of great songs about women that were sung by women. Damn, I Wish I Was Your Lover by Sophie B. Hawkins. I Kiss a Girl by Katy Perry. And the one I like a lot is Girl Crush by Little Big Town. That's a great song too. And that's a population we didn't talk about. I just couldn't find any honorable mentions that were up that high, but these are very good songs. And I think it added the inclusivity.
Nobody mentioned Jolene.
Jolene's a great song too.
Great fucking
Yeah.
song about a woman. Please don't take my man.
And cut this if you want. And it kind of like, and I'm glad you touched on that, Rand. Like Bob kind of threw it out there too. This is coming from our perspective, where we are three individuals who we looked at it more as a personal connection to us. Yes. I think, and how we feel personally, and we did use that into our selections. But yes, they're like Randy mentioned, great songs about women written by women, and of course the other way around. I'm sure we'll maybe can do some kind of flip where
best song about a man,
best song about a dude. Like that's a cool song about a guy.
And Joseph, I know you were dying to talk about tattoos, all the things she said, but we didn't have time for that. But maybe we'll bring that up next time. But that was a great song too. Captured the Fast Car by Tracy Chapman is big again.
Yes.
Because Luke Combs, right, does a cover of it.
I think
Number
he
one
did.
country.
Hair. You know what? Yeah. It's I don't know. That's a tremendous song on its own. It's sad. Like people.
Yeah, it's a sad song.
It is. Props to Tracy Chapman. She's the first Black woman to have written a number one country song. Oh, long overdue. And Luke Combs. I mean, it's a very popular song now. But
Butthead.
Back in. No. That's
Luke Bryan.
Sorry. Luke. It's the same thing.
I think I got the name right. But Tracy Chapman's Fast Car in 1989.
Fast Car. Yeah.
It's
great song.
Wonderful
great fucking song.
Yeah, a great song. Another great song about relationship. Guys, we have a little time. What have you guys been watching? Any show suggestions? Final thoughts. Show suggestions.
Show suggestions. It's been a while. How's everybody doing?
Hold on, I'll get it right now. The new one with Jason Segel, the psychiatrist. That show is just fucking awesome. It's amazing. It's funny. It's sad. It's depressing. It's like all the above. It's like what you want out of a show or a great movie. It's a great show. I've been watching a lot of crime scenes, seeing the crime and shit like that, because that's what I'm into. The Playboy murders on HBO Max. It's like different. They're all like cold case type of, not cold case, but like crime scene cases and murders. And I'm into that kind of shit. So, show is not actually into that kind of shit, but, yeah, that Letterkenny, I saw Letterkenny. I thought it was hilarious. I can't wait for Winning Time. It's coming back when?
Yes.
August. Yeah. Like that. I can't wait. I'm looking forward to that. What about you, Joe? You haven't been watching anything new?
TV wise, no, everything's kind of on break as far as the regular shows that I watch, and then who knows what's going to happen with the writer's strike. I've seen more so just like as far as new movies. Finally saw John Wick 4. I enjoyed it. Great way to go out with that series franchise. As far as I know, as far as I know, that's the end. And I saw Air. I was telling Bob about this one.
Good movie, yeah.
Did you think so? Because I know you've seen it, Randy.
Yeah,
I told Bob, I said I described it as good story.
You like the documentary better, right?
I just told him, I said, I thought it's a great documentary. It's a great story. It's a tremendous story. I just didn't see it as a movie. The movie's interesting. Like I told him, it takes place over the course of like a week or something like that. And it was entertaining. I just think it's more of a better story and documentary rather than a movie. But I did tell him one thing I love seeing is actors and actresses doing, it was really awesome to me to see Chris Tucker not doing a comedy movie.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
And thank you. It like put him more in movies. Don't think of him as a just the what is it
Friday
Rush Hour. Friday Rush Hour.
He was awesome in Dead Presidents though.
Put him in some more stuff. He was awesome. Although his role was small, Marlon Wayans did an awesome that little one scene where they're at the bar or the diner or something, and he's talking about the Martin Luther King speech and whatnot. Yes, I love it. I love seeing people go out of their element or doing something that they're not. So, and this movie had that, so it was cool. Aside from the normal performances of Affleck and Matt Damon and what's his name, Jason Bateman was awesome. He was cool. I mean,
you said Affleck like the duck.
Affleck. Yeah, I didn't mention that.
I went a little bit longer on that movie than I thought, but no, it's good. It's Viola Davis, also her performance great. She as Michael Jordan's mom. We don't see
she's pretty great in everything she does.
Yeah, she does. I mean, but she was really awesome in this movie too. Real. Oh man, her calm demeanor, like the way she does roles that have her do that. Oh my god,
Michael Jordan requested that she play his mom.
Awesome.
So. Oh man,
that was
that's
badass.
Awesome. I want to see Oppenheimer. Are you looking forward to? Would you want to go see that one?
I'd like to go check it out.
That one looks fucking amazing. And I'm into like the World War II stuff, and it's an atomic bomb and all that shit. So it looks really, really crazy. I'm looking forward to going and watching that. I think it comes out 21st.
Really quick, I finished up Ted Lasso. Good series.
Did you cry?
No, but I felt like some of the storylines were a little weak. Like I didn't really like Keely's storyline and Jamie and Roy's. I thought was a little. Nathan's got wrapped up a little too quick for my taste. But good series, good wrap up. Very happy that I got to finish it. I am watching season 2 of The Bear. I'm about to start episode 6. I heard episodes 6 and 7 are the 2 best episodes of the season, so I wanted to stop there before, because I can't binge. I have to watch one episode a night so I could really like soak it in and discuss it and really understand. That's just me. Some people could watch it in 5 hours and they get a full understanding.
I'm the same way. Like we watch like 1 or 2 a night only. We're on episode 4. Like we're gonna watch episode 4. So I read a lot, but I wouldn't want to binge it either. Like I like to savor it. You know what I mean? Like if it's something that's like stupid or funny or like cliffhangers all the fucking time, well then I watch that. Yeah, episode. But like this one doesn't kind of have that. It's just a really great story too. Really good writing again.
Oh, it's there's never, what I've noticed on that show, never a wasted moment. Never. The pacing is so brilliant. Everything has purpose. Every interaction, it's structured with intentionality. Every time I watch a scene, I'm like, crap, whoever is putting this together, they really just captured real people and what it's like to be in this business. Although I don't know, but you just get the feeling. And the music, they play all this dad rock throughout the episode. I'm like REM, Van Morrison, Fine Young Cannibals, Bruce Hornsby. I mean, I'm trying to like find all these songs so I could put it on my playlist because they're hitting my age group, man.
Did you ever see Shameless?
I saw a few episodes. It is a good show.
Shameless is a really, really good show. But beneath all the, there's a lot of comedy and like funny shit. Like there's a lot of this kind of writing and these kind of storylines that go along with it, with that show too. So that was a great fucking show. I love that show. And then it has the same actor, so works out pretty well.
No, brilliant and fun episode, guys. And that's our show, everyone. Listeners, we'd love to hear from you. Hit us up and let us know what your favorite song about a woman is. More importantly, let us know what you think about the show. You may reach us at formidableopponents@gmail.com. Follow us on all forms of social media. That now includes Threads. And by searching for Formidable Opponents. We'd like to thank Creative Little Pill for her great artwork. Please follow her on Instagram at Creative Little Pill. Please rate and review us on Apple and Spotify. And join us next episode. We'll be back next week with Best 90s Frontman. So for Bob and Joseph, this is Randall. We'll see y'all next week.
Mother. Song's gonna be in my head.
Mother.